My name is Gunjan Mishra. I am from 2016 batch of Indian PNT Accounts and Finance Services, currently posted as Deputy Controller in Department of Telecom in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Sir, your journey, as we have also read and as you also told, has been very inspiring. What I wanted to know is how are your previous professions, that is doctor and entrepreneur, is helping in your current role, which is rural development and communication, which are two very diverse ministries, especially communication, because communication is such that there are a lot of changes that happen. What was there 2 years back completely changes 2 years afterwards. So I just wanted to your take on this.
So again, this is a good question. As a doctor, we always learn to listen to the people problem, right? You always ask open-ended questions. And you listen their entire socio-economic status. Doctor is, you can diagnose a problem, but you give the most expensive medicine, and if the person cannot afford, you're done. And a lot of people don't tell also, they have a lot of information. So, really high-end doctors develop the art of understanding the person deeply. And then you start coming up to the solving the problems. Even whether telecom or rural development, there are people who are willing to really help you. They will give all the information, but you must have that patience to listen clearly without being judgmental. That's really important. That is number one. Number two, you should also know how to cut through the barriers, because the ground information is quite different from what you get from your secretaries and other. Every step, there is 10-15% of the actual information that gets lost. So you should know up to what extent you want to go directly and get that information. For example, in departmental posts, we're trying to improve the departmental post. I ask our top level, I don't get it. A lot of information. So I go to all the circle people. I tell them, I give my WhatsApp number. You send me, if you were me, what are the things that you would do to make the departmental post the best post? You send it to me directly WhatsApp. They will gladly give you. And then you look at it, then once you identify the problem, it's simple. Then how to solve the problem? That's a different story. Then you bring the people, again, you don't make judgmental, why this happened, why that happened. You get to the problem, you focus on the problem and you solve it. But at the end of the day, really genuine listening skills without being judgmental and your ability to solve the problems. Whether you are a doctor, whether you are an entrepreneur building a business or public policy. These are all very similar concepts. There is nothing like entrepreneurship and this is different. It's exactly the same skills that I learned are being applied here and people are quite happy. And I know most of my department problems quite well.
Sir, good afternoon. I'm Sarvana Kumar. I'm the Principal Secretary of Food and Civil Supplies Department in Bihar. Sir, it's quite happy to hear you. As you mentioned, you started with a very humble background and you made a lot of money. And then maybe you realize money is not just money is not giving you happiness. So maybe you wanted to contribute to the society. That's why you had come back. My point is there are many such people, rich people, of course, they are spending a lot of money to get into politics for the purpose of fame. You are not in that category. I just want to know what percentage of people, rich people, they feel I'm not happy with just money alone. So let me contribute to the society. What percentage of people are coming forward like this?
So let me tell you, I think there is some misconception in what you said. First of all, it's not that money is not giving me happiness that I came into politics. That was not the main reason. The reason I came into the politics, because when I was a doctor, I was trying to help at any given day 30 to 50 patients is what I would say. And I teach all my residents, maybe 30, 40. When I built my entrepreneurial company, I was serving the product at least 5 to 6 million people annually. And the reason I came into the politics, I could influence a lot more people. That was the reason I came. It's not because I was not happy earlier. It is for a greater influence. That is number one. And number two, other people, see, everybody contributes in their own way. Not everybody necessarily need to have, come into the politics to serve. If you're building a great product, that's a great service. Actually, it's the best service. One, you are creating great employment. Second, you are servicing your people. And, you're probably inspiring other people with your work. So I would not put that one. And number two, how many people will come? It again, there are a lot of factors that involve why somebody should come into the politics or serve public service. One, they should be, the local party should be able to encourage them, even if they want to do it. Second, there are a lot of, corruption, self-interest, and people who want to build their own way don't want to lower their ego. So it's unique for everybody. Again, this is what I don't want anybody to be judgmental about other person. It's unique to mine. What I thought is God has given me the great breadth of knowledge across all the spectrum from medicine, accounting. I built so many products, law, accounting, finance. I have a very good understanding of the world. And second, I went from the lowest strata to the highest in the world in a short period of time. So that global perspective that I experience will have a lot of value to India. So that's why I thought, it's okay if I sacrifice my life if it is going to help a lot of people. So that is my inner calling. And it's different for every person. Like Elon Musk, he could create the best car company in the world and he could continue to influence. So that's how I look at it. Thank you.
Hello sir, I'm Dr. Santosh and I have studied at Andhra Medical College and my brother is also from Little Rock and we really feel inspired. He's telling me about your work.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you very much. I'm also from Visakhapatnam and heard a lot about you. Especially we all watch your wife's videos on how to take care of household expenditure and how the smallest of small things how you both of you keep inspiring. Sir, my question is that you have built this wonderful USMLE model first and then moved on to many other things. Now as IT and Information Technology Minister, how do you see, because we have huge issues in software, even in, for example, healthcare. One software doesn't talk to another software, and I think we have a huge power of AI now coming, and then because you have huge experience of building such a wonderful USMLE and many other software platforms, how do you see India moving forward in healthcare and many other sectors, especially you taking forward this very important ministry and portfolio? And just one thing I would like to add, sir, just want to convey to everyone that so many years sir has stayed in US, earned so much money, but never took US citizenship. He has come back to India for serving India.
I always wanted to somehow come back. I don't know, I never changed that passport. See, the software development and it's nothing but a product development, whether it is healthcare or anything. What I realized is we don't give the importance of that product. Even when I talk to all the various business groups, they complain so much about GST software that the country is using. Highly complex, it doesn't talk. This requires again enormous focus from whoever is building it. You need to have a proper architecture, proper use cases, proper UI, UX, and everything has to be done. And then user testing. And this process has to go every time you make major changes. But as people, when they have so many computational things in the government, and in the government, what I realize is for any human being to do exceptional work, you need accountability, at the same time, appreciation. Both must be balanced. In the government, I do not see either one of them. Right? If somebody takes this product exceptionally well, what do that person gets extra? Zero. Same salary. Whether you perform good or not, you are getting your promotion every 3 years or every 5 years. There is no accountability for a lot of people. And appreciation. is also, in my view, what I have observed, political leaders take that credit if they have done something good. So there is no real mechanism to make these things. Because we don't have those structures, things will go with poor quality or average quality. So this has to be thought through a bigger lens. How the bureaucracy should work, just like a private organization. What are all the things that we should do? Whether incentive structure or accountability structure, both of them. Then only these things will improve. Until we do those things, the rest will be keep talking. Everybody will be saying blah blah blah, but in the ground it will be different. I agree with you on that.
Sir, I have talked to you about leadership and putting up with bosses like Mr. Sindhya and Mr. Shivraj Chauhan at one go. I know it is rural development on one paradigm and this one communication on the other side, and you are managing both and being a doctor, being a politician, being a philanthropist, managing so many hands. Only acting is that, sir. I think you can try that.
What? Acting? Acting. I'm not a good actor. I am genuine, it's hard.
Sir, my point is your company, New World, is doing very good in this education. Sir, are you doing something for the education of rural people in the medical line so that they can enhance their skill and develop into very good doctors, sir?
No, see, learning doctor is actually happens in the medical school. It doesn't happen in the villages. It's a completely different language once you get into medical school versus below. The rest is all about how you build the schools. So that's where you can make a difference. Actually, I'm building 2 large model schools in my constituency. Again, it has to be, that entire curriculum has to be a little bit different. So everybody, by the time they come out of high school, everyone should have good understanding of all the basics, everything about this world in short span. Like the video, financial management. A lot of people don't know how to do financial management, basic things. So with coming up with a couple model schools, we'll see how I will be successful or not in this school. Thank you.
So my name is Vidan. I'm a management consultant by profession. So you spoke about dharma, right? My question to you is, dharma tells us to think of the betterment of people without thinking of the outcomes, right? Or without thinking about how that tangibly reciprocates in an outcome for yourself. Now, how do you manage this with being a politician where you have to think about, getting re-elected after 5 years, right? So at the end of the day, when you are thinking of society, in a way, you also have to think of maximizing the returns for yourself. So do you see a conflict there? And if yes, how do you manage it?
No. So that's what I mean. You should not think about yourself re-electing first. Your mindset should be first understanding your real people problems. You list all the problems. Second, what are all the things that you can control and you can solve? Number 2. And number 3, and ensure those problems are solved in a timely manner and it's visible. And once you do that effectively, 90% of the times you will win. Because the average people are extremely smart. They know your pure intentions, whether you are working hard or not. If your goal is to only re-elect, then what you will be thinking about is getting into all the unnecessary things. Because you don't know when you take these controversial aspects in every time, you don't know which side you will be. One time it might be good and one time it might be not be good. And sometimes that bad thing could be the maximum impact one. But if you're always following the right thing, you will never be faulted. You will never be. Once in a while you might lose, but majority of the thing, I look at all the people who did, why they are winning 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. Why are they winning? Because they all have very similar principles. You look at it. People who win, who lose, they have a different mindset. You take anybody. They're always genuine people, good people. They have warm welcome to all the people. They have empathy towards other people. They try to solve the other people genuinely. Those are the only people who will win successfully. So there is no conflict, in my view. Worst case, if you lose, Okay, let's say you lose. So what's the end of it? If you have hard work, during that time you go and do something else that's meaningful. It's not the end of the world if you lose. You're not dying, right? There is nothing more fearful than the death. Death is certain. Why you are fearful of losing? If I lose, that's okay. But I don't want to do the bad things. End of story. Simple. You need to have that clarity.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Naresh. I work with the progressive organization called Shivnada Foundation and work on the K-12 vertical, the education aspect especially. My question is that you as a custodian of rural development, and we still, India is still in rural only, with around 70%, the contribution in the nation building. What is your roadmap and how you see India 10 years down the line, and what sort of rural development can happen? Because still there are problems related to education, related to health, related to environment, well-being, and there are many areas where people are not aware about the basic schemes of the Indian government. So how you see that? I have a compliment for you because, sir, you are such a qualified professional, I would say, than the politician. You have the ability, and definitely you can frame out something which can boost these coming 10 years, for the developmental aspect. And on other way around, sir, the very basic thing is the Panchayati Raj. How you see to empower them so that they can contribute, they can have the decentralization, they can have the empowerment to make the mission successful.
Okay, this is a very good question. A lot of the times when you enter into new career, you believe you can change everything, that everything is under your control, which unfortunately is not true. Okay, you are part of a system. And for example, in my view, there are only 3 people that can influence this country. One is the Prime Minister, second is the Chief Minister, third is probably a powerful Cabinet Minister. Even Cabinet Minister, not 100%. Only the Prime Minister and the Chief Ministers can influence the people's thought. The rest of the people, majority of the times, will be implementing what the post has been designed. This is a harsh reality. If you are smart, whether you are an MOS or cabinet, you can influence both of them to define the course. That's one thing. Number 2, your vision, what you want. In patience, in politics and public policy, you require enormous patience. You have to earn the trust of the public first. You have to earn the trust of your party and your authorities. Then devise a policy and get through this. So having said that, there are certain things that even though you have a great vision, sometimes it takes long time. For example, we have a scheme called Manrega, rural employment. This scheme has been there for 20 years. There are a lot of great things. There are a lot of issues. To fix that scheme, we know how to fix exactly. For example, it goes to 80,000 crores to 1 lakh crore per year. That scheme spends approximately 1 lakh crore. In 5 years, you're talking about 5 lakh crores. Let's say if I have that 5 lakh crores as a private organization, you give it to me and you tell me, go and fix the villages. I can make every village the most beautiful village. But the systems are designed over 20 years in such a way. There are 80,000 employees working on that scheme just in Andhra Pradesh alone. Employees, just to monitor. And the Act has so many things that were included that were appropriate 20 years ago. Some may not be applicable today. And the Act, when it was put in, just to give you an example how difficult these things, anybody can be employable, including a 100-year-old person, can apply for a job card, you know that person is not going to work for that job. But the act has no age limit. To change, so all of these need to be rectified, which requires enormous willpower. You understand what I mean? So like that, every scheme, what I realized is you cannot make changes just like that. It will only be an incremental policy, that too with the people who should have so much patience and willpower to push these things. I have a lot of great ideas, but some I'm able to implement right away, and some will take much longer, and that's beyond this discussion. You will be getting bored if I start talking about all of that. But just to give you how I see the world.
So I'm Abhishek Kurachan and I'm from ICICI Bank. So your life story has been quite motivational. You have been a successful leader, businessman, medical practitioner. So, but now in your new role, I'm 100% sure that you will be jotting down some of the few important thoughts your diaries towards being implemented weekly or monthly or yearly, as you have practiced in past also.
Okay, closer.
Yeah, can you keep the mic closer? So we would like to know some of the few major points which you think are implementable amongst the multi-causal complexity of the set of problems.
Yeah.
Some few suggestions or few thoughts which you have said, which you are going to implement in a month or in 6 months or in a year.
In my departments?
What's the vision for the department?
I can tell you a few that we are doing. For example, Department of Post. So we have almost 4 lakh employees there. I visited a lot of post offices. Post offices are not open on time. And this is a part-time work. They do this as the other job is their main job. They come, they may not go. So what we did was, how can we make those people accountable? After I came, we're moving all the post offices into Gram Panchayats as much as possible. Then we need state coordination for it. And then we're putting biometric attendance with a geotagging. Now they have a biometric, but it's not geotag. So you can open from anywhere and say it like that. And then we took all the GDS, that's from the accountability perspective. And then appreciation. We took all the GDS, then we say, divide into 4 zones in the country. We're going to do quarterly appreciation. We're going to take top 3 to 5% of the people. We celebrate their success as a festival. And they will share their success stories, why those people were successful compared to the rest of them. So that's an appreciation. So me, my MOC, Sindhya ji, we will be giving certificates, awards. So it's making like both of them, just to give you an example. And then post offices. There are a lot of fake seeds, fertilizers, pesticides. So can post offices deliver those directly into the parcel? So like that, there are so many ideas that we are working on.
Maya Pandey Jain. I'm an officer in the Indian Revenue Service. My first 3 years of my career in the posting in Visakhapatnam. Much like your case, sir, there are various communities, sir, like Telugus, Gujaratis, who are very aspirational, and we see communities going all the way to US and being there. My question to you, sir, that even now, sir, in rural Andhra and parts of rural Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, youth will always dream of being in the US. If they are really hardworking, they make the cut, then the eventual destination is to go abroad. So is there only an ecosystem issue in our country? Because we have been working for over 70 years on rural development, and our villages today are much better than they were when we got independence, and yet we've never really been able to arrest this brain drain of our best minds in the country. So what do you see? Is it just an ecosystem issue or something that is a generational problem? Will there be a day where we will actually be able to get back our youth?
It's a very good question. So the problem started mainly, it's a problem of South mainly. It's not a problem of North in general. South is the issue. See, when the engineering came at that time, Chandrababu Naidu garu, he started a lot of engineering colleges to take it as an advantage. And then the salary disparities are also significant compared to the engineering. So now everybody wants to be an engineer. So parents sell their properties and they send them to the US. And this has become a huge problem. And no politician is there enough to tell the reality here. Actually, I thought I'm going to talk to the public because it's very hard for them to accept the reality that, not everybody can be an engineer. The system, the world is designed to have everybody does certain aspects. Unfortunately, now things gotten so quickly out of our hands. I think nature will correct by itself, which is what we are seeing. Eventually, at some point, there will be a reverse brain drain. Not everybody can go to US. Not everybody can get a high-paying job. It never happens in the history. It will automatically correct local people. There will be competition, demand and supply. So you can have a hope on India that the continuous brain drain may not happen.
So I'm Dr. Yashika. I'm also a physician by training and now working with the National Health Authority for the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. And prior to this, I was with the pharmaceutical industry. So my question to you, sir, is that often social sector and profitability, these two words are seen as contrary to each other, as contempt. And if there's a good doctor, he should not charge fees. So if there is any kind of social development that should be taking place, it should come free of cost. But what is your thought, being an entrepreneur yourself, that profitability has to be there to run the cycle? What is your thought on that?
Yeah, very good question. See, anything that's free eventually be considered as no value. You have never seen a completely non-profit organization making anything exceptional in this world. Just because you are sufficient, let's say you wanted to start non-profit or I want to start non-profit, just because I have enough money, my employees will not be the same. They have their own motivations, they have their own families to take care, they have their own aspirations. So for a system to work, it must be meaningfully profitable. That is the only way you can create large impact. Why US is capitalism is not the best either. But socialism is the worst. Socialism is nothing but distribution of poverty. Capitalism, while it has its own flaws, still much better than the socialism. That's number one. This is how I look at it. And you can balance it. If you put a proper capitalistic measures, anti-competitive clauses, and if they are really implemented, for example, in telecom, you take it. We only have Reliance and Airtel, big ones. Earlier it had 10, 15. A lot of them got killed. Why did they get killed? Had there been 4 or 5 high quality, real competition, you will get the best service. You take the government, you know the quality. So definitely private enterprises work the best. There is no doubt. And when even in healthcare, for example, you can have insurance, but if you give 100% insurance, 100% you pay out, insurance company pay, everybody abuses. The hospital will abuse, the patient will abuse. What does it mean? Patient will go to every small thing to the doctor. But if you put co-pay just like in US, first 10%, 20%, then you start questioning the doctor whether you really need to go to the doctor. You take some accountability for yourself. So you have to come up with these middle of the pathway solutions that are sustainable. And people need to have that understanding. What for any given situation, what is that balanced, sustainable mode? Not many people in this country have that kind of exposure of the vision. Once you have that, absolutely you can create, every system can be fine-tuned. It may not be 100% at the beginning, but 70-80% you can get it, and you can get to 100% within a short period of time. But again, you have to have that kind of collective leadership, quality leadership to accomplish these things. Because you have so many branches, systems, and everything.